The latest figures were quite no good news, as the population of the infected rose by 1,000 in one day alone, and 75 people were added to the victims. That's the highest daily growth of fatalities since the start of the outbreak that we had. Also included in the infected population is a long list of government officials, such as First Vice President Asieh Jahangiri, and in the latest we heard that Ali Akbar Velayati, the former foreign minister and one of the closest figures to the supreme leader and his top advisor for international affairs, is now under home quarantine, and he is said to have shown the initial symptoms. And we know that he's also the director of the hospital hosting the largest number of coronavirus patients in Tehran. We continue to hear from medical workers extremely tragic complaints about how critical the situation is in the overwhelmed medical centers. At least 20 of those nurses and doctors have died so far, a sad indication of how under-equipped they are in this unfair battle, if you will. Of course, Iranians are already putting a massive self-imposed quarantine on their own by staying indoors these days, while also launching mobilization campaigns, distributing masks and other scarce items in hospitals. As for the IMF request, well, last night Iran asked, the Iranian government, it was in 1953 that they asked for the same thing, and it was in the aftermath of the U.S. coup that overthrew the democratic elected government of Prime Minister Mossadegh. Now this is coming after 6 decades, and you know, during the interval in between, Iran has been passing through the worst of crises: the unrest and instability after the revolution, the devastating eight-year war with Iraq, and a lot of more of those crises. And now this request indicates the immense financial pressure Iran is suffering from, which has been coupled with decades-long Western sanctions, and add to that the recent nosedive in the oil prices, because we know that Iran's oil income has already been tremendously slashed and falling to all-time lows.
Sarbas, we're running out of time, so apologies for interrupting you. We're short on time. I just want to bring up the fact that all of this is happening just a week before the Persian New Year, but the reality seems to be there's not going to be much celebrating this year.
Well, as you said, the timing couldn't be worse, and the government has been refusing to quarantine, to lock down the cities, but and at the moment life is nearly frozen despite the failure of the government to lock down the cities. I mean, it's not too much to say that no one comes, no one goes at the moment, and this is the booming season for the Iranian business, but at the moment we realize that many of those businesses are just closer to a state of bankruptcy. I've been in talks with many of them. They're absolutely disillusioned at the moment, and the same is happening in the tourism sector, where we are hearing from a lot of travel agencies who have made their workers redundant at the moment.
All right, sad situation in Iran before the Persian New Year. Sarbas Nazari live. Thank you.